Our objective is to reduce federal spending. As conservatives in the House, that is a top priority of ours because we're haunted by the federal debt. It's $33.6 trillion now, Maria. You address this all the time on your show. We have to keep that in mind always. We want to decrease the woke and weaponized federal government and its apparatuses and reduce federal spending and make sure there's accountability. So all that comes into the equation, all that comes into the debate, and whatever that top line number is, we're going to work very hard to come in beneath it, and you'll see that work happening here over the coming days.
The first major leadership test for Speaker Johnson is underway. House Republicans have introduced a plan to provide $14.3 billion in aid to Israel by cutting funding to the IRS. The bill also separates funding to Israel from the Biden administration's broader emergency funding request, notably omitting support for Ukraine.
New Speaker of the House Mike Johnson tells Kayleigh McEnany how he plans to pay for the aid to Israel.
My intention and my desire in the first draft of this bill is to take some of the money that has been set aside for the building and bulking up the IRS right now. They have about $67 billion in that fund, and we'll try to take the 14.5 necessary for this immediate and urgent need.
Do you have any sense on how united the Republican conference is on this front?
Well, the Republican conference is 100% united, and I hope the Democrats will be as well.
Well, I believe Massey said he wouldn't vote for it.
I just texted him before we sat down and said we got to have a talk. Thomas Massey is one of my favorite people in the world. He's principled. He's a constitutionalist, but we have to figure this out.
Israel is our nation's greatest and strongest ally, and they're asking for our help, but we understand that we're badly in debt. So we want to help Israel, and we all do. I think most Republicans and Democrats absolutely want to do that. But we also have to acknowledge our own financial crisis here in America. The Speaker has rightfully picked a place where we don't need to be spending money. No one in America says you can fix all America's problems or Israel's problems if we just hire more IRS agents. So he's going to make the Senate Democrats and Republicans and some Republicans in the House and, of course, House Democrats choose between the IRS or supporting our greatest ally against an unprovoked terror attack on their soil. I think it's an easy choice, quite honestly.
That's about as Washington, D.C. as it gets.
And is the president open to considering any spending offsets for that funding?
So look, I'm certainly not going to get into hypotheticals from here, but what I can say is,
House Republicans are calling for that right
now. I understand that. I hear you. What we've been very clear about is that we want to see both move forward. We want to see both of the requests that we've made in the supplemental for the national security. We want to see both move forward because it is vital as those two countries are fighting for their democracies.
So spending offsets, is that on the table?
Look, these are emergency funding requests, right? We've been very clear about that. Like other emergency funding that Congress has passed with bipartisan support, they do not require offsets. They just don't.
Does President Biden look at these anti-Israel protests on college campuses and think it's nice to see that the country's youth are so involved, or does he think the next generation is doomed?
Here's the thing. There's no place for hate in America. No. I'm telling you, there's no place for hate in America, and we condemn any anti-Semitic threat or incident in the strongest terms. And you heard me say at the top, I gave a message to students who are feeling under threat right now, right? We're tracking these threats very closely. We are there for them. No student should have to be able to go to class, live on campus in fear. And, these incidents, these reported anti-Semitic incidents at schools and on campuses, that should not be. We have to condemn them. We have to condemn them.